happy anniversary to you, Scott.
Thank you very much, Bob. I could not have done it without your help. And we almost couldn't have done it tonight at all because the power was just going
Yeah.
out. We'll see if the lights stay on as the
See if
show continues. But let's say hello to our man, Mr. Bob Rock Jr.
hello, Scott.
How's it going? It's been 100 shows, Bob.
Yeah.
What do you think? How
This
did
is.
we make it this far?
I don't know how we did this, but we're doing it.
So we're happy to make it to 100. We thank all the 5, 6 viewers out there that are watching.
Yes.
We appreciate your support. We do want to thank some people. Obviously, thank my man Bob right there, and also running the show tonight, the director who's taken over director duties for a while now. Tui has been doing a great job for us. Let's thank some of our previous directors.
Yes.
Remember our original, way back director, Mr. David Suero, El Diablo, DJ Malo, man of many names.
Where is he? Where is he now?
He's parted ways. And he helped us get the show off the ground. Of course, the evil director,
Okay.
Mr. Kevin Gallagher from Time Out with Kevin Gallagher, took over director duty for a while after that. And he was part of the show right from the beginning as well, as he used to help with graphics. So we appreciate that. John Newmuller has been a part of the crew. Scott the Riddle Man, where's he been? He helped us out a few times. Barb Kydell has helped us a few times.
Yep.
Of course, Candy and Dave.
Yes.
Candy Roswell and Dave King.
We have
the
to
guys,
thank them too, because if they weren't here, we wouldn't have a show.
They do the whole deal
Yeah.
down here, run Comcast, the station. So thank you to them. Also, remember when we started the show, I had a co-host.
Yes,
because
you
this
did.
show
Mr.
was born of another show. Was originally the Sports Bar with me and Justin Mazzarisi, Maz. And Maz then was leaving, but he was part of the first 8 shows or so here. So we thank him. Him and DJ Macalicious, Mac Matthew, they were part of the shows that we used to do down here before we started Sports Buzz. We've had some regular callers over the years. Uncle Buck,
Yeah.
long lost Uncle Buck. Haven't heard from him in a while, but he's been a regular caller. Pete Green. I've had some other special callers. Jimbo, Jim Jams, Jim Myers, Joe Jetmet. Haven't heard from him in a while. He's been out there. Pete Green as well, I think I mentioned. Our Yukon Husky fanatic who's called in a few times, Pete Swanson. Also had a fill-in co-host one time from Colorado. Remember
Yes.
Silent Bill?
Yes.
Didn't say much.
No, he was very quiet.
But he did enjoy his time here. And of course, musically speaking, Dick Lexus has provided theme music for us from way back when. And Fatty Roots, of course, the Positive Vibes, Kicking It Live. And we continue to play their music and are always happy to hear their tunes. So we thank everybody who's been a part of the show. So we're going to recap, Bob, what's been going on since we started way back in January of 2010. The first show we ever did was actually a taped show,
Right.
which was the Bethel Wildcats Class L semifinal upset of who did they? New London. Big upset in that game, and we had the entire game in its entirety here for the first show. Then we went live in our second show. And guess what the biggest topic of that first live show was, Bob?
Something about the Jets.
It was, as a matter of fact. The Jets were on their way to their first of back-to-back AFC Championship games. And sexy Rexy Ryan, that year they were a major surprise. They snuck into the playoffs because the Colts laid down in Week 18.
Yep.
Then they faced the Colts in the AFC Championship game, had a lead at halftime, if you remember.
Right.
And the Jet fans were going wild before they ultimately lost to the Colts, who then went on to the Super Bowl and were to lose to the New Orleans Saints as the Who Dat Saints. Was a big topic there that we went to, as well as they won the Super Bowl against the Colts with the big interception there, right there, as he picked off Manning, ran it back for the touchdown. Big moment. So those were the first 2 big moments. After that, Bob, we shifted gears to basketball And this was 2010, and there it is, Celtics-Lakers in the NBA Finals.
Those fakers out there in La La
La
Land.
Land, the fake show. This, unfortunately, was the year the Fakers did beat the Celtics, not the year the Celtics beat the Fakers, and that Game 7 was brutal by any stretch of the imagination. Two ways about it. The officials, ouch.
Yeah, I
not
know. They
good.
were not very helpful.
When you have fans of other teams, not the Celtics, calling on you and saying, I'm sorry about what the refs did to your team, you know it's bad.
Right.
You know the refs did a bad job, and they did. But that was obviously a big topic in mid-2010 that we were talking about. And then actually it was another team making a playoff run, Bob, a local team who we've talked about many times over the show. The Danbury Westerners.
Matter of fact, you just did a very
That's
good
right.
interview.
Stay tuned right now, 6:30. Don't flip your dial. I will be the guest host of the Westerners Roundup doing the show tonight, so you can stay tuned for that. A big show with Jack Deering and Gilbert Hernandez Brown, a former Negro League player, as we are black. Sorry. Doing a nice show we did, actually, so stay tuned to that. But the Westerners made a run through the playoffs and won the Western Division NECBL Championship. So we talked about that plenty in the summer of 2010. And then, on this show, Bob, we don't always stick to just the main top four sports.
Right.
We are international. We are worldwide with the sports, and it was World Cup action in the summer of 2010, and it was all about Spain. The reign of Spain, as they were in the middle of their 3-championship run, which is still going. They won the Euro Cup, then they won the World Cup. They've come back and won the Euro Cup again, and they did win the World Cup that year against Germany in a classic. And also another international wide-ranging sports topic that we got to was tennis. It was another Spaniard as well. Rafael Nadal, the 7th player in history to win the career Grand Slam, as he capped it off winning his first ever U.S. Open in 2010. It hasn't been all that great since then for Rafa with some injuries, although he is back on track. If my wife is watching, she might be home now watching. She's a big Rafa fan. She'll be happy to hear Rafa is healthy, has won 6 tournaments so far this year, heading into the French Open, which is coming up. But that was a big topic. Spain and their dominance of the international stage in that summer, winning World Cup, and then Rafa's dominance, capping it off with the Grand Slam winner, getting all 4 majors, winning the U.S. Open. And in the winter, Bob, we saw another local event. It was the launch of the Danbury Whalers.
Yes, something I have.
Right there. Pro hockey returns November 2010. Danbury Whalers. We see it, and the crowds flock to the Danbury Whalers Arena, and they've been packing the arena ever since.
Yes.
And they recently, of course, won. We'll get to that as we continue to recap.
The first championship
But
in
those
Danbury.
were some of the big stories of 2010 that we got to. Of course, we're not here every week. So there were other big stories, I'm sure, in the sports world, but those are the ones that we covered mostly when we were here, and that was what was going on. As we turned the calendar to 2011 and we got into playoff football, Bob, it was the Jets, Jets again. Shocking the Colts this time after they lost in the championship. This time they got the wild card win in Indy. Then they went to Foxborough and pulled the major upset of the New England Patriots, and it was Sexy Rexy celebrating in Foxborough with the victory. Of course, they would go on to lose their second consecutive AFC championship to the Steelers, and then it brought on a classic Super Bowl matchup, Green Bay Packers versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we were all over that. Titletown, USA, against the most winningest Super Bowl team in the Super Bowl era, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it was Aaron Rodgers and those Green Bay Packers winning that Super Bowl. So that was a big story right there. So that was early football stuff we were talking about. And then it was more local, big-time winning action, Bob. I remember it well. Big East tournament. King Kemba launches a run for the ages, really, for the UConn Huskies men's basketball team as they went on to win the Big East tournament, as he was breaking ankles in the Garden all week long. Dramatic buzzer beaters, huge victories, and that propelled them into the NCAA tournament, where they went on to win that. Another championship, the third for Coach Calhoun and for UConn Huskies, as they did go ahead and win not only the Big East tournament, but the NCAA tournament, as Mike is hung up on the Big East tournament photo. But there he goes with the NCAA championship photo. Keep up with us in there, Mike. They got the win there. So that was quite the epic situation. And really, it was all good for me at this point, Bob, because we had UConn winning.
Right.
And then we rolled right into hockey. And what was going on in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 2011? None other than the return of the hub of hockey, Boston Bruins, the Bees with the spoked bee on their jerseys, winning the Stanley Cup for the first time since the early 70s, when it was Bobby Orr reigning supreme over the Boston sports world. Here was Big Z, Tim Thomas, and the boys winning. Really, I mean, that was another epic, nail-biting run. And if you remember, when they did win, I broke out something off the set, the Vancouver Canucks playing cards, if I can get this open. They came from behind. They were down 2-0 to Montreal in the first series, and they rallied for an epic 7-game win. They had another 7-game winner, and then against Vancouver. Goodbye, Vancouver. 7 games. We got you. Bruins won the cup, and I flipped the cards like I just did right there. So that was great. And it looked good. Another soccer event, 2011 USA Women's World Cup, but they were shocked in a classic. Hope Solo down, could not take it. Japan stunned the world shortly after the tsunami hit their ravaged region. They gave some happiness to the area as they won the Women's World Cup, knocking off Team USA, who, oh, by the way, had knocked off Canada in the semifinal in a controversial game. I felt they did not deserve to be in the final. It was poetic justice, perhaps, for Japan winning that Women's World Cup. And after the Bruins gave us all that life and everybody was happy about UConn, we were dealt a dose of reality as the Boston Red Sox came up with their chicken and beer saga and the epic September collapse of all time as they faded away into oblivion, were rained on. The rains poured down in Baltimore. Remember that final day of the season, Bob? They had the lead. The rains came. They blew the lead. The Yankees had the lead on the Tampa Bay Rays, 7-1, 8-1. Then they pulled all their pitchers, put in the minor league team, and the Rays went ahead and rallied in the 8th and 9th inning to beat those damn Yankees and launch ahead of the Red Sox and officially complete that epic September collapse, which led to the exodus of Tito Francona and Theo Epstein, and a lot of other players went way of the West the following year. So it was not good, and it was also not good in the college football world that year as the Penn State saga unfolded in front of our eyes, and Joe Pa, disgraced as he was, I still feel he got a raw deal by the media. I think there's more to this story than meets the eye. The quick fix that everybody wanted to pin on him, Joe Pa, a legend. But it did not end well for Joe Pa as he was forced to resign. Sadly, he then passed away not very long afterwards. So really an end of what was a great story in Happy Valley turned into a very ugly, sad story as the walls came tumbling down around them.
But on the local scene, the Whalers did make the playoffs.
Made the playoffs, but no big run. We will get more into their 2013 as we get to that, but that was not a big story in 2011. 2012, however, we were back turning the calendar and we were back talking about football. And unfortunately, I was forced to wear a Giants jersey right here on the set. As we see there,
As the
another
Giants and
miraculous
the,
late-game catch by the one-trick pony, luckiest team in the history of the NFL, New York Football Giants.
Giants.
The G-Men's made Bob happy once again and made me unhappy as the Patriots came up short.
Just a hair.
Heartbreaking loss. They really should have won this game, but they did not. And the Giants broke their heart again. The G-Men winning the Super Bowl in early 2012 as they did it to the Patriots one more time. Late game heroics by Eli Manning, a miraculous catch, late score, and that did it. A Hail Mary by the Patriots came up short. Of course, Gronk was playing on one leg. That was a big factor in that game, and they didn't get it done. And that was that. The Giants win again. Patriots still sitting on 3 Super Bowls, not 4, not 5. The Giants kept them from both of those efforts. So that was what was going on early on. And then, Bob, it was the launch of Linsanity.
Oh, yes.
There it is. Jeremy Lin broke onto the scene as Brick City was breaking back onto the scene.
Yes, they were.
Oh, Amari.
Yeah.
Amari Stoudemire had the Knicks playing well. Brick City was coming fast, or Sanity was coming fast and furious, and then they traded for Carmelo Anthony.
And then everything went to heck.
I thought Jeremy Lin was going to be the point guard for the Knicks for the next 10 years.
Yeah. And
I think he's playing for the Houston Rockets. Linsanity. We all caught it. It was crazy. We had him in the Hall of Fame after 3 weeks.
And then,
Not so fast. And after Linsanity, it was a little Tebow mania.
oh, yes.
Tebow mania, which of course was going strong in the football season, then got ratcheted up with the press conference announcing he would be part of the JETS, Jets. And of course, we haven't seen the Jets in any playoff type situation since then.
And they were, I remember
And
in New
Tebow
York.
now is gone.
As soon as they said Tebow was going to be on, they sold out jerseys within an hour.
Right. Tebow mania, one and done. He is now looking for a job, as a matter of fact. Doesn't even have a team to play for, and he didn't really play much for the Jets this year. They brought him in with all the hoopla, and it was all hoopla, no substance, all spice for Tebow mania, and the Jets have been flying down into the ground ever since.
Mr. Sanchez is not doing much.
Not
He
too good.
didn't play very much.
Not too good. And then in the hockey world, it was your Rangers, another team trying to be on the rebirth, much like the Bricks were. Your Rangers making a run, but lo and behold, who got in their way, Bob?
I know.
The New Jersey Devils, out of nowhere, I believe. Were they the 8th seed last year? 7th
think
seed
so.
at least? They did not have a very good season, not much expected out of them. They knocked off the Rangers. It was no step on my toe, my toe. He stepped on my toe. No, my toe. It was the Devils. This time around, shocking the Broadway Blue Shirts, who might be getting shocked later tonight.
Yeah, by your Bruins.
We'll get to that, maybe, if we have enough time. Devils went on to win the Eastern Conference and go to the Stanley Cup, as we see there, the picture coming up. And it was the Connecticut kid, Jonathan Quick, from the Los Angeles Kings, hoisting the cup against those Devils. Really, the LA Kings, an 8th seed right there. And Jonathan Quick, a Connecticut native, bursting onto the scene as they won the Stanley Cup. First time ever for the LA Kings. And that was really a great run by them. So that was a big story, as it had the Connecticut connection for us to follow that. Staying local, we then watched as our most favorite boxer, Delvin Rodriguez, got into the ring and got his chance at a belt. Right. The super welterweight WBA belt was on the line as he went up against Austin No Trout Doubt. It was a lackluster performance as both fighters really held each other at bay. Wasn't much action in this fight. The decision went to Trout as he retained his welterweight, super welterweight battle, his belt right there, as Delvin did get his chance. And we have seen Delvin get back into the ring recently, fighting Comanche Boy, and he really upset the up-and-coming Comanche Boy a couple months ago, and he's wasting no time, Bob,
Right.
getting back in the ring. Get your set tuned if you are a fan of Delvin Rodriguez. Friday night fights on ESPN this Friday night, as a matter of fact. Tomorrow night, Delvin is back in the ring against Freddie El Real Hernandez in a junior welterweight bout. This time around, Delvin looking to regain his momentum that he had. He had won the ESPN's or the Fight of the Year award in many circles, as he took care of Pavel the Pole before he got his tight at Austin Trout. And that led to a rematch against Pavel, which led to a retirement of Pavel the Pole. So Delvin has been in the scene boxing-wise. It looked like this Trout fight loss was going to knock him down, but it didn't. He's enduring, and he's back looking better than ever and looking to regain his form and maybe get another shot at another title. So we'll keep an eye on him. Glad to see he's back on the scene. And then it was NBA action. Not so fantastic. The big three. And they saw their man after losing to the Heat. Can't beat them, join them. Say hey, Ray. Parted ways with the Boston Celtics. The Celtics pushed the Heat to the brink last year, Eastern Conference Finals, going Game 7 against the Heat. They came up short, and Ray Allen then broke up the big three, turned it into a new big three with Rajon Rondo settling in. That did not work out so well for the Celtics this year. We'll see what happens now in the offseason. Garnett, Pierce could be gone. It could be all blown up. And, of course, the Heat are continuing to play. They are in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Pacers. Do not get me started on last night's Game 1 against the Pacers.
Oh, that was a
unbelievable. I mean, really. 2 seconds left, you're going to give a guy a free, wide-open lane to the layup for a layup? Really? This is what the NBA is down to?
Yep.
Nobody knows how to play? Unbelievable. All right, let's keep it moving. That was a big story we followed there. And then, again, it was Danbury Westerners with another playoff run. It was another fun summer at Rogers Park. As there it is, the Danbury Westerners, Western Division 2012 champs. They did it again. 2 out of 3 years they were the Western Division champs. They'll be beginning their season in a couple weeks as the defending champs, so we will be talking about them plenty again. And then we saw the retirement of a legend in the area, Bob. Coach Calhoun hung it up. And UConn really, Kevin Ollie ushered in a new era, did a great job for them this year. But Coach Calhoun, hats off to him. One of the greatest all-time Connecticut sports scene people, brought a champion, a legacy, a team that could be proud for all eternity, as he had quite the run here in Connecticut, put basketball, UConn on the map. And we got to see that firsthand here. So that was great, and that was a big story we followed. And then we got to follow another big franchise having a collapse. El Capitan breaking his ankle. The Yankees suffering from a meltdown of epic proportions, setting all sorts of futility records in the playoffs with their inability to hit in the postseason against the Tigers in the ALCS last year. And A-Rod being disgraced, being benched, being pulled for a pinch hitter in the 9th inning in a losing effort. Unbelievable. So we got to rhapsodize about that, and we did have a good time. That was a fun episode. We should go back and re-air that episode sometime. We did have fun as they were losing that Game 4, being swept out while we were on the air, so that was a good time. Then we turned the pages to 2013, and there it was, Bob, your Whalers winning the Cup. The Danbury Whalers bringing the first ever championship to Danbury, so that was a great time. You had all the footage of that on Spotlight On. We had some of it here.
And it's up on YouTube.
All of it's on YouTube. Search the Danbury Whalers. You will see it all. The championship game final is up there in its entirety.
Plus the parade.
And the parade. Then we got to see our Lady Huskies. It's not all about men's basketball in Connecticut. It is also about women's basketball. And they shocked everybody this year. It looked like Notre Dame had them in their sights. And no, when it mattered most, the Lady Huskies pounded the Lady Irish into submission, then went on to win their 8th championship. 8 for 8 in the finals, Bob. Not a bad record for Gino Auriemma and his Lady Huskies. When they get there, they get it done, Bob.
Right.
That's basically all there is to it. And also locally, a big story we followed this year was the Frozen Four.
Yes, there
All
was.
Connecticut hockey final in college, and it was Yale beating the Q as the Ivy League hoisted the championship there, shocked the Q, who was the #1 seed, and Yale snuck into the postseason, and Quinnipiac had beat them 3 times this year, but they could not get it done in the final. Yale stunned them in a great finish for them. So those were the stories we've covered in 100 episodes of solitude, as it is sometimes, perhaps, as we have gone through the years, really having a good time here, having fun talking about sports with you, talking about sports with my right-hand man, Bob. So it's been good. What do you think, Bob, as we only have about a minute or so left? Some stuff that is current. Your Bricks, not so good. They're gone.
My Rangers.
Rangers, are they going to extend the series tonight against the Boston Bruins?
I hope they do, but it doesn't
Or will
look
it
very
be
well.
Sweepsville population U?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I hope they make it, but come back from 3 games down, that's real tough.
Real tough, and the Bruins have been outplaying them big time. So we'll see. Hopefully they will finish the sweep tonight. If not, they got a few more games to get it done. So they'll be, they're in good position right now. And your Bricks really were a disappointment, Bob. I don't know why. I mean, really, before this playoff started, everybody had the Bricks playing the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. Well, I turned on the TV last night, and the Indiana Pacers are playing. Where are the Bricks?
I don't know.
Fell apart. Total collapse
now,
by them.
Well, let's go for this. Yankees, they had no really major league players playing.
And they are in
and they're
first
still
place.
in first place.
We got a nice little pennant race going on. Next week's going to be big as Matt Harvey, cover of
my
SI,
Mets.
Sports Illustrated, him and the Mets, your Mets who are tanking fast. They will be heading to New York. How about that? They got 4 games, 2 in the Bronx, 2 in Queens. And then the Red Sox will come in for a 3-game set in New York as well. So Memorial Day, happy Memorial Day to everybody. We appreciate you all tuning in over the years.
We'll be back,
have a safe, happy holiday. We will be re-airing the 100th episode special next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks to see what happened with baseball, really start diving in and getting ready for the Westerners season opener. So keep your channel locked. Westerners Roundup, and we are out of here. Thank you very much.